If you've been doing stand-up for a while now and still aren't getting the laughs you think you should be getting, which, by the way, we all think we're not getting the laughs we should be getting, let me tell you something that nobody told me when I was starting out. It's not your jokes. I mean, yes, it kind of is your jokes, but you have not found your character yet. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what I mean and why it's gonna change everything for you in your stand-up. Let's do it. Okay, first thing, your comedic character is already predetermined. I know it sounds strange. Stick with me. It took me years to have the realization that no matter what you want to do on stage, deadpan, one-liners, wacky, jump around, it doesn't matter. If the audience doesn't see you that way, they're never gonna buy it. It wasn't until I read this book, Finding Your Comic Genius, written by renowned UK comedian and now one of my good friends, Adam Bloom. This video is the one-on-one session Adam and I had at the Comedy Store in London when I was there touring this month. And we talked about one of the things that every new comic doesn't know about. You can't pander to an audience. It never works. Trust me, bombing while trying to impress people is the worst kind of bomb. Learning from the audience and letting them point you in the direction you're supposed to be going, now that is something different. What's the #1 rule in comedy? Don't steal people's material. Their persona, on the other hand, it's a little bit of a gray area. Yes, it is wrong, but it does help you get a little bit of confidence to get on stage. And eventually you grow out of it and you find out who you are. I knew a guy, moderately famous now, who when he first started was trying to be Mitch Hedberg. And this was at a time when Mitch was still alive. After an open mic, a guy came up to him and said, "Hey man, do you like Mitch Hedberg?" He goes, "Yeah, I love Mitch Hedberg." He goes, "Great, we already got one of those." So no, you shouldn't be doing it, but to the people who are, I give you a little bit of a free pass. Even the guy you're about to hear from, Adam Bloom, he did it, but he figured it out. Start to smile, wear some colorful clothes. It was small little things that he changed and the magic just started happening. And it's not because the material changed, he just stopped hiding who he was. And if you think content like this is gonna help you get just a little further in your career, give me a subscribe. Then check out all the other videos I upload, and then hopefully you one day will not suck at stand-up. All right, let's get into it. I give to you one of my good friends and hopefully your new comedic mentor, Adam Bloom.
I've been thinking about this a lot recently when it comes to, I guess, comedic characters on stage. Because I always feel like nobody is really searching for theirs. I feel like there's a lot of people that just get on stage and they just go, well, I'm just going to say something that's funny, instead of thinking about what it is that the audience is looking at and figuring out what it is that that comedic character would be saying on stage. I had this premonition, I don't know, maybe about 2 years ago. Regardless of what it is that you want to do on stage, it's already been predetermined for you. You have to be the one to be able to move away the sand and figure out what that is. And even if you want to go out and be that guy who's the deadpan guy, you want to be the one-liner guy, you want to be the guy who's like super over wacky, the audience will never laugh until you figure out exactly what it is that your predetermined comedic character already is.
I completely agree. What audiences teach you what your clown is. Mm-hmm. And there's a profound difference between pandering to an audience's taste and learning from the audience who you are. And I want to elaborate on that. When a comedian walks in a dressing room and goes, what do they like? They're not a good comedian, because the audience like what you make them like. What do they like means I'll change what I do, tailor it to an audience. Well, no, because you have a product. A Big Mac doesn't taste different in different countries. It's a Big Mac. I hope I'm correct there.
Yeah.
So the point is, I believe audiences teach you what's funny about you. And like you just said exactly right, they guide you into your clown. And when you try and be edgy and it doesn't suit your soul, audiences won't buy it. There's something insincere about it. And I started smiling more when I was 3 years in, and the magic started to happen. I was doing well. I was full-time comedian 2 years in, but the magic happened when I started wearing colorful clothes and smiling, because that was allowing them to see the mischievous child in me, which is my clown. So pandering is going, I'll change what I do each night to suit that type of audience because I want to give them what they want. That's the quickest route to mediocrity.
Yeah.
But learning from all audiences who laugh, that's audiences as a whole. So that's everyone in the world gradually hinting to you what is you. And that's a beautiful thing. But pandering is going night to night, going, what does that audience need? Learning your clown is what all audiences will teach you over time. It's like, and I've never said this before, there's a comedian called Howard Reed who did a lovely routine about someone who did a sculpture of a horse. And some kid said, how did you know it was in there? And he said, well, I just trusted and I found it. So I would back that up with a chisel to see if I could find anything else. And there wasn't anything, not even 1 centimeter big, to see that. But the idea of saying, I trusted it was in there. And that analogy, that description, popped in my head when you described the persona thing, because you're chipping about yourself based on what they're teaching you. They teach you.
Yeah, it's a science experiment. And I don't think there's enough people that have figured that out yet. They don't learn from it. I've seen people go up and do the same joke over and over and over again, and it goes nowhere. At some point, somebody, you have to be a good enough friend to grab somebody and go, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're not laughing at that. They're not giggling. You need to figure out what it is about that joke that's not working and try to change it.
Yeah, and often they're copying their heroes for the first few years. And if their hero is very charismatic and they're not, it's painful to watch. When I started, there were a whole load of Eddie Izzard clones. And he's got the bass with, very camp-wisted, just a vagueness about him. And they'll go, so what else? And I'm going, you're being Eddie Izzard and you haven't got his charisma.
Sure.
You can't put, they might have some charisma, but they haven't found what it is.
Yeah.
So when you're impersonating your heroes and you haven't got what they've got. I mean, I saw someone impersonating Bill Burr the other day. The material's brilliant, the energy was brilliant, but it was plagiarism in a way it was plagiarism because they were copying his body language. So if you steal one joke from someone, that's plagiarism. If you steal their persona, that's permanent plagiarism. Because even if you write every joke, you're permanently copying their energy. But the thing is, he did it well because it did suit his charisma.
Sure.
So what he done is he cloned someone well. But either way, that's still plagiarism. But when someone clones someone badly, you're going, are you aware that you're not likable and you're trying to be likable? It's painful to watch, right?
Yeah, it really is. It really is the way to find yourself sometimes is by doing a caricature of the people that you really enjoy. I found it a lot when I was working in radio that you would find there was a guy named, and I'm very open to this. Basically, there was a dude named Remy Maxwell who I loved listening to on the radio. When I got into radio, because I didn't know who I was, I mimicked him. And then one day I just found myself. There was a break that happened and I went, oh wait, that's who I am on the air. I'm not Remy, I'm me. But through doing this, you are building the confidence to be able to find out who you are.
I agree, but you have to shoot your skin soon.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be Ben Elton, who's someone I grew up on, and he saw me gig, and I said to him, look, you're an inspiration and everything. And he said, well, you can't see any of it now. I thought, great. I've had one of my heroes tell me that he can't see any of it.
Yeah.
But I worked with someone recently who was so much like Bill Burr, they were doing his cadence off stage in an English accent.
I get a lot of people who say I sound like Brian Callen. You know Brian Callen? I'd say he kind of rolls in the Joe Rogan, atmosphere. And every time I see that thing where they go, oh, he's just doing an impression of Brian Callen. I like Brian Callen. He's a good dude. I think I would probably choose a different comic to rip off than Brian Callen.
You'll say he's not very good, Bill.
I like him. He's funny. But if I was going to steal from somebody, it wouldn't be somebody who was...
If you're watching, there's no good way of saying this. Why would I steal from him?
Why would I steal from him? He's not funny at all. Nobody is funny. But I think because he's so well known, I would try to find somebody else. I mean, that's what
Other people didn't know.
Yeah, like Robin Williams was like notorious. The rumor is notoriously would go to the open mics and find people that people didn't know and steal from them because he would go, well, they'll never see this person on a large stage. How would they ever know if I would do it? Yeah.
Sorry, I know he's dead. Horrible thing to do.
Absolutely.
It's such the golden rule is you don't steal someone's stuff. It's the golden rule. Yeah. That's a sign of ambition. And the thing is, when someone breaks the rules of an industry because they're ambitious, that shows they're unstoppable. It's like, no, I don't play by the rules because I just want to be big. A TV producer doesn't care. If you go see that little young comic, Robin Williams, he actually stole it from a club comic who you've never heard of who's doing unpaid work. They'll go, I don't care. A TV producer doesn't sit like that. No, so you're breaking the rules of an industry for a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And, there are probably people who watch this go, how dare you insult Robin Williams? Just because you're one of the greatest stand-ups ever, it doesn't mean your crime's not a crime. It's not how it works. You could go to another country. You could go to Germany and get something translated instead, and no one's going to know. Mm-hmm. Because how many comedians in the States speak German and have seen that comedian? Yeah,
and how many times you go to another country and there's Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, Japan's Got Talent. They're all just they figured out what formula works and they just steal from each other.
Oh right. Yeah. Well, America stole our sitcom Office.
Yeah.
You know what else?
Oh, tell me.
Sanford and Son. Did you know that?
Yeah, no way.
Steptoe and Son.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's written by Gorton and Simpson, who also wrote Hancock's Half Hour. They were the Gervais and Merchant of the 1950s, 60s. Yeah. So yeah, Steptoe and Son was an English sitcom.
Guys, pretty good, huh? Hey, before we keep going, why don't you hit the subscribe button? You can keep watching if you don't, but I'd appreciate it. Let's keep going.
How many jobs did you have before comedy?
I just got to bartender. But I had a couple of little jobs that didn't last. But the only career I had was got to a bartender. I got sacked from one job. I got demoted from one job and left out of pride, and I got sacked from the other one. So I didn't get sacked from the first one. They demoted me over an issue, and I was head bartender. They said, look, we don't want to sack you, but we have to set an example. So we'll demote you temporarily.
Sure.
And I gave him my notice, and he went, I'm not big, ignore that, talk to me tomorrow. Gave him my notice. The pride of being demoted was horrible. The pride that came with it being. Yeah. And then the other I got sacked from, I made a mistake. I'd come from the West End, and I ended up in a very smart place. So I was in a party town. I ended up in a place full of politicians, and in Westminster, it was a very different vibe. I'd gone from party to serious restaurant, and I made a mistake based on me not being used to that environment. And the manager said, you're the worst barman I've ever worked with. And I said, you're the worst manager I've ever had. I was 22 years old. I wasn't spoken to like that. Sure. And I'm very proud of myself because you don't sell it to somebody. And I got sacked and became a comedian 3 weeks later. So it all worked out. But my point is, I haven't experienced that year and a half. Yeah. Because I never lasted that long.
Yeah. Well, I always like there's a great scene from the movie, what is it, The Dark Knight Rises, the third Batman installment with Christian Bale. And they talk about, they're trying to get out of this pit, this jail. And everybody would tie a rope around themselves and they would try to jump to the next level and they would fail. And somebody said, the reason why you're failing is because you got that rope tied around you. You got to take that rope off and just jump because you have to make it. And I always think about that with comedy. If you don't go into this, if you have a safety net, if you have that job that pays well and you have that job that is always going to be able to afford you money or afford you food and a mortgage and be able to take care of your car payment, very seldom are you ever going to be that driven to want to be able to make it in this business.
That's nice. I love the rope analogy. That's great. I haven't seen that one. I love the rope. Sherlock, who died in 2021, my favorite comedian, English comedian, he, in an interview, they said, what's it like dying on stage? And he said, it's like being on a rope, swinging across a lake, but you don't press hard enough on the way, and you swim back, and you come back again, you look, and you're left with swiggy in the middle. That's what it's like having a bad gig, when you just feel like you're on your own. It's not, you haven't pushed far enough. Yeah. So yeah, I love that. I love that analogy.
What's the secret technique? I have my own thing. I'll tell you mine, but what is your secret technique in the middle of bombing where you have where do you pull them out? I can't imagine that you eat it on stage much anymore.
No, corporates are the only environment I corporates are. Yeah. So I've got a line at a corporate event, and I'm struggling badly, and I say, it's a very special day for me today because I started drinking heavy last year, and cut long story short, it's a year ago today since I had my last drink. No. And they applaud. Yeah. I say, that's not actually true. I just wanted to hear what it sounded like to get a round of applause in this room. Right? And what happens is they go, oh yeah, he's right, we haven't been very nice. And they up the game suddenly. But that doesn't turn it round. It momentarily gives me a kick. And another line I says, I've actually enjoyed this more than you have. They're going to say more than you know. Yeah. And then they laugh. They go, I've done good, it's been flat for like 10 minutes. I don't acknowledge it. Because if you acknowledge it straight away, then they get uncomfortable, right? And now I just go, I've actually enjoyed this more than you have. And they laugh. They go, oh, he knows he's rubbish. Yeah. Oh, that's a week of relax then. And then they bonded me over how bad I am. Yeah. And then we get back on track. But I'm not, there's no bulletproof way out of dying on stage. No. A death is a death. Yeah. But I have methods. I will do crowd work, of course. I will tell stories. And if you tell a story, because I'm doing short jokes, if I tell a story, it doesn't matter if it starts to know small laughs like the joke. If you go set a punchline, fail, they go, oh my, that joke failed. But if you go, I got mugged the other day, they go, oh, what happened? And you tell a story, you get your first punchline. It's not so much a fail. It's just, that interesting bit of information wasn't funny, but at least we're learning about what happened. There's drama. So then there's empathy drama. So what I would do, I would tell a story that then allows me to get some more laughs without the awkwardness of a punchline failure. Because then you go, and then he fell over. Nothing. Well, you can't pretend that wasn't the ending, can you? So I would tell a story, which is kind of cheating, but there's no such thing as cheating to survive the death. No,
I take some shit sometimes because I'll have people that are close to me in my circle that can give me heat will always go, because I'll do a joke and it'll bomb and I'll go, Jesus, that sucked. Okay, anyways, and it gets a laugh. Right. Because you're breaking the tension in the room. Yeah. And they always go, well, you're cheating your way out of it. And I go, well, what else? You have to acknowledge it sometimes. It's like somebody dropping a tray of drinks on the other side of the bar. You have to say something.
The only cheating at death is doing something else in material or walking off. Yeah. No, there's no such thing. I said cheating. What I mean is I've tricked them into not laughing, so the laughs are gentle and not embarrassing when they're small. Yeah. Or not at all. Yeah. There's a drama of a story means they're interested.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just go sell that punchline, you go, you know what I like about cherries? What? They're not going, ooh, this is exciting. Here comes a joke about cherries. But you go, oh, my dad died recently. I would tell you about the funeral. They're like, okay, this is interesting because this is truth.
Sure.
And that's my trick.
Somebody taught me this a long time ago, that right when you're about to mention something to the crowd that's not going well, or you're going to say something like, wow, you guys are a ball of energy even after whatever you're going to say, they said, do one more joke. Just go one more joke. Just when you can feel it in the room that there's nothing left, do one more joke. And you know that joke is going to bomb. Because now, instead of being at that cusp of, we don't know if this is going to go good or if it's going to go bad, you're going to do one more joke, and then you're going to solidify the fact that this is going bad. And when that happens, you're going to go, okay, take the mic away from your mouth, hit it on your hand twice. Because that sound in the microphone that goes, it breaks their concentration. If they were staring at you, but they weren't paying attention, they hear that. And then they go, huh? What's happening? And then you take your arms and you wave and you go, all right, erase, 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 erase. We're starting over. Here we go, guys. All right, let's do this. Let's come on. Bang, bang. You hit it twice. Okay, now they're staring at you. If you have a joke that is a B plus, do that joke. Move it up in the set. Get them back. Now,
Reset.
you reset the room. And every time, I've only had to do it maybe 10 times in my career.
This is in corporate. It's never happened in a club. I'm not saying I don't have tough gigs in clubs, but I don't die in clubs. I step 2 steps to the right. So I'm moving away from the bad energy around me. Now you might go, oh, that's all mystic stuff, but it feels good.
Sure.
I'm stepping away from the area. Now I did a line, I talked about virtue signaling, and I said, this is a corporate. And I said, I got chatting to a girl the other day. She had a t-shirt on that said, make love, not war. I tried hitting on it, and you should have seen her fight she put up. And there was a woman scowling at me from that moment onwards. Now, we know the best thing to do is leave that alone because, you know, but she was scowling so hard for so long, I eventually just went, are you okay? Now, that was a mistake because she wasn't heckling, and the rest of the crowd could see her face, but it was so aggressive. And she said, yes, I didn't appreciate your rape joke. Now, hitting on or tried it on with could be verbal, and it's certainly not rape.
Yeah.
Tried it on with is like, hey, baby, what's your name? That it's verbal. It's verbal. And I broke down the joke and said, they're verbal. And I said, so let's have a round of applause as that ugly word leaves the room. I just thought to myself, you could have the best gig of the world, and someone could put their hand up and say, I didn't like the rape joke. And now everyone's thinking about rape joke, whether they agree or not.
Yeah.
Even if they all really strongly agree, that word's still hanging in the air. So my instinct, I don't know where it came from, I said, let's have a round of applause. So the point is, applause is a positive thing.
Yes.
So if they hear applause, it's NLP, right? They're hearing a good thing. If I went, let's just watch that word leave the room, then I'm asking to stare at the letters R-O-P-E. It's happening else. There's some Ed-rated Sesame Street. Just that panic moment going, she's in danger of ruining my gig. Because everyone has to go, oh, was it a rape joke? And now you're on trial suddenly. So yeah, but I love the tap in the mic thing. I might play around with a me version.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite, don't take myself seriously, I could do something maybe a bit more clowny with that principle. This is a plagiarism, by the way. This is a technique that's being offered.
Absolutely, yeah. He gave it to me. I'm giving it to you.
That's not the same as that's not his joke.
No,
it's a technique offered to everyone.
Absolutely,
and I love the idea. I might deliberately have a bad gig just to test it.
Yeah. It's almost like telling somebody to pause before a punchline. It's like it's a technique. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I on the pause.
I had somebody tell me once that they invented the 3 guys walk into a bar joke.
That's ridiculous. How old? How old were they?
She was probably about 62, and I was like, I thought, okay, first off, that joke has been around since you were probably before your parents were born. 3 guys. How insane is it that you think you came up with 3 guys walking to a bar? You mean to tell me that hundreds of thousands of jokes that follow 3 guys, you came up with that in just like some small town in Wisconsin? What an insane concept to think. And believed every word of it.
Who wrote the first knock joke?
That's a good question. Who would it be?
It had to be the first one.
Yeah, the first one. It's got to be somebody who worked in wood, obviously.
There's a brilliant comedian called Paul F. Taylor who does a bit about when someone does knock joke. It might have been the first knock joke or the first one time you heard one. They go knock, and you don't know who's there, and he did this whole elaborate thing. You have to say who's there. Paul. In the 80s, it was all Irish jokes. They were the next door neighbor country, so they were the stupid ones. Right? Every country else.
Oh yeah, Polish jokes. Yeah. And Finland.
And we've grown out of them now. We've moved on. But there was one was I can't believe I'm doing this, but do you want to hear the Irish knock joke?
Please.
You start.
Okay.
But it's now we don't. I have not heard an three Irish because it was always an Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman.
Yeah.
And the Englishman said something sensible, the Scotch said, and then the Irishman said the stupid thing. All the three, right?
Yeah.
So imagine someone said, I mean, someone had to do the first. Yeah. Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman. Is this strange? Someone was the first.
Somebody was the first to come up with it, and since then it has just been. And they do it with so many different versions of it. It's a rabbi, a priest, and a horse. It's a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. It's obviously the rule of three. But somebody had to come up with that. It'd be interesting to find out like the first actual written version of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we don't even know who wrote the jokes we tell, as in the street jokes. Yeah. We call them pub jokes. Comedian John Fothergill from Newcastle, brilliant joke writer, as in he says great jokes on stage. He was in a pub in Newcastle, full of just blokes in, t-shirts and football tops, whatever. And this rabbi walked in, and this bloke at the bar, not John, went, "Sorry, mate, you're in the wrong joke."
That's great.
They're wonderful.
Hey, if you're in the U.S., here's a couple of tour dates I got coming up. This week, I'm in Las Vegas at the Laugh Factory opening for Jeff Leach. And then next week, find me in Laughlin, Nevada at LA Comedy Club. Week after that, I will be in Colorado Springs headlining Ludi's Comedy Corner. And after that, Chicago, doing the Vixen Theater on Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Zanies in Rosemont with my good friend Jonathan Kite, who hopefully you will be finding on this YouTube channel soon. Make sure to go check out rudypavichcomedy.com. All right, here's the rest of the interview.
We've talked about this before, but I love this. I figured this out, and then you really put it into the words that made me go, "Oh, okay, I'm not the only one who thinks this way." And you put it so much more eloquently in the book, Finding Your Comic Genius, which is out now, and I love it, and I tell everybody about it. It's one of the best books I've ever read probably the best book I've ever read on stand-up comedy. But I figured out early on that all of my jokes did best when they felt uneven. When they felt like they ended on a syllable, like instead of 4 syllables, it was 5 syllables, or it was 3 syllables, or the phrasing, it was a long punchline, but then there was only the last 2 or 3 words had to be 3 syllables. And I figured it out, and I was thinking about it, like, why the jokes that I'm saying, they feel awkward. They feel a little loose. So they feel like they're not complete. And if I say a complete sentence, it doesn't get as big of a laugh as when I say one that's a little bit off kilter. And then in the book, you talk about the seesaw. You talk about how having jokes, you even brought up my name, because my name is 4 syllables, Rudy Pavich. It's not good.
That's 2 is not
good. Yeah, 2 is not good.
Even king.
Yes, absolutely. You want 2 and 1, 1 and 2,
1 and 3,
1 and 3. Yeah. 2 and 2, not good.
My mum had a boss called John Stefanidi, but it goes Jonathan Stefanidis. It doesn't work. It's too gavelly. So yeah, seesaw. A punchline with a pause in the middle should inevitably have more syllables on one side than the other, unless there's a really, really nice group of sounds that override that.
Sure.
Or there's a misdirection in it that is so powerful a twist that's what they're laughing at. I can give an example. I could medicine with seesaw, but it didn't matter. I said, if you've got cats and you're sick who've been covered in cat hair, get some sticky tape and wrap it around your cat, right? Now that's the reason is I can't, if there's a brand of sticky tape called Arizia sellotape, I can't change sellotape. I get some tape and wrap it, it's not enough because it's the stickiness of the tape, right?
You just set the picture. You need to paint that.
You need to paint that picture. So therefore, and you could say sellotape and wrap around your cat, but I don't speak like that. I would say get some sellotape. A friend of mine said, you could say sellotape, I wouldn't start a sentence with sellotape. I'd say get some sellotape.
Yeah.
So he chopped off some words. You can't just butcher a punchline. So the point is the misdirection allows that lack of seesaw to still be funny because it twists. But rhythmically, yeah. And this is, sadly, the thing I'll be remembered for when I die.
You think so?
Not being a good person, not all that because it's chapter 1 in the book. It's the thing that's been quoted the most back to.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But I also think it's probably one of the most helpful in the book too. Because it really makes people look at their jokes and really think about the syllables in them and how many words they're adding and how much they should be taking out. Even just because I cut a lot of clips for other comics, and when I watch it, I think to myself, this joke could have 30% more pop if you would just take out all of the, and then you guys know, and it's crazy because I think stop. They're saying, well, it's crazy because they need their brain to catch up to the words that they need to say. Okay. So they add all those extra words and it has all that fluff and it just keeps inflating and moving those punchlines further and further away from each other. The other great piece of advice was the 3 ways to watch your sets. It's you watch the video with the audio, and then you go back and you listen to just the audio, and then you go back and you watch just the video with no audio. And those 3 things will help you build that set faster because you are you're isolating the 2 things that matter most. What you look, and especially the way you said it, it's what you look like, what you're saying, and how you say it. When those 3 things are harmonizing, that's when it really pops.
So what I love about what you just said is that was your summary of the book, but I've never said those words.
Oh.
And the other thing is, I've never said watch yourself with a bit sound off. That's you came up with that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well, I think I read it somewhere, but I don't know if it was in the menu. Okay, maybe it's not yours.
I-
Okay, but either way, I did find that to be a great piece of advice. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I wish I could take credit for that. It's really weird. You go, no, what I love about your book? You said watch with the body now. I'm like, no, I didn't. English comedians, we do like our comedians to look funny, even a funny outfit. And Americans, just got your 60-year-old white men in suits.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Nellie Glazer out there in a very tight dress looks fantastic on her, but I remember the days of Paula Poundstone and Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, no, sure, but I'm just get sick to Malcolm in a suit. We've got people like Harry Hill, who's the reason I started, with big collars, stupidly big collars.
Yeah.
It's like no outfit, then he's big collars. That's his crown. Why has that man got stupid collars? Because he looks silly. Why? Because he's weird. So we visually weird. Tommy Cooper, look up these people.
Yeah.
Wore a dinner suit and a red fez Egyptian hat. A little ridiculous. Alexis Sale, overweight, bald, wore very tight suits that exaggerated his size. He was wearing a suit that was 4 sizes too small. So he's bulging out the buttons.
Yeah.
Emo Phillips is a hero of mine.
Yeah.
He was a character.
Sure.
Strange. But with regard to, we English comedians, we like to look funny as well as say funny. But Americans are very happy to just wear a normal suit, Seinfeld. You understand there being funny.
Yeah.
So there's a cultural difference. We do like our comedians to look funny.
Yeah, I agree.
like winners.
Yeah, you have to figure out what it is that, if you do jokes where you primarily win or lose, you have to figure out which one you are. Yeah. And once you figure that out, you have to be able to dress accordingly to it. I figured out very fast that all of my jokes, I need to win. And anytime I lose in my jokes, it doesn't come off. I am the guy on stage that's constantly correcting my daughter. I'm the guy who's constantly correcting people. I'm the guy. And when I don't do it, when I get put out, I can do it, but it has to be late in the set. And it has to be, I have to preface it with, because I've been doing this joke and it's mostly a true story. It's about 85% true about me shitting my pants on stage. And, it was a funny deal. And it I kind of added some flavor into it just to make it a more interesting story.
You shit your pants on stage.
Yeah.
Well, how much money do you sell that?
Yeah, not a lot. It was very...
I'm saying some used underwear.
I have to preface it with, when I do that joke, I basically have to go out and I have to say, you've heard me talk about all of these things about, oh, he's got such a great life and he travels and he's got a beautiful daughter. He's got all these things. But I am a man of the people. Do I have those moments that make me an everyman? I do. Now I'm going to tell you a story and it doesn't make me look good, but it needs to be said. And then I launch into it. If I just go into that story, they go, what the hell? This guy that we've looked at as a winner the whole time is now telling this story where he did this embarrassing thing. It doesn't translate.
You sit out.
And I've done that bit in the beginning of the set, and I get crickets for the rest of my set. You got to do it towards the end. Oh, I got to do it. It's got to be one of the last things that I do. And it's memorable and it's funny and it's got a big pop at the end. But if I do it too early, the crowd just goes, no, we don't.
Attention. So I'm the exact opposite.
Really?
I lose early on to show I don't take myself seriously.
Sure.
And then I build up very quickly.
Yeah.
So then, presenting clever ideas, they don't go, who does this guy think he is with his clever ideas? Because I've already shown you that I can be the fool.
Yeah.
So is it I'm the exact opposite?
I don't know if you have a joke or anything that you do specifically to show what your character is and what people are going to watch for the next 45 minutes.
Well, I believe a good ending line doesn't just set up your persona, it sets up your style of comedy.
Yeah.
So you can achieve 2 in one go.
Sure.
You can show your mischievous and you can show your jokes technique. For as a newer comedian, for a good few years, actually, I would open with that cat and the sticky head joke. Mm-hmm. So that shows I'm mischievous.
Yeah.
And it shows that my jokes twisted at the end, misdirection.
Sure.
So you've got Emo Phillips. When Emo Phillips did the debut in London, which was the TV, he had like, they gave him an hour with like 3 advert breaks. And he walked on stage in the Old English Theatre, his debut performance, and he walked on and he went, it's great to be indoors. Right, so we think it's great to be in London, but we could, because it's visually in the theatre, and America in London, you could see he's going to say generic opening. It's great to be in London. So his jokes twist. He's going to misdirect you. That's that twist within the last word.
Yeah,
not just on it, within it.
Yeah,
it's great to be indoors. Right now, that goes his jokes twist. Okay, you got to watch yourself. He's gonna wrong foot you, and he's just told you he's been wandering the streets all day.
Yeah.
Well, this persona is lot misfit. And style is misdirection. So my was kind of stereotype is persona is mischief and style is misdirection. So I've gone on and I've let you know two things. And you might go, you're overthinking it. I'm not. What you're doing is you're planting in their mind immediately what you are. Because I've watched comedians for 20 minutes and at the end of it, I still don't know who they are.
Somebody's told somebody a long time ago, you know what you should do? Get on stage and the first thing you do is say, I know I look like XYZ. And every comic has done that. Brian Regan was the only one who I saw who really did it kind of flawlessly in the best way possible at his Red Rock special when he decided to not dye his hair after the pandemic, and it was gray. It was fully gray.
Right.
And he walked out and his first words are, well, I better talk about this or you guys ain't going to laugh at anything. It was he understood that it was such a difference from his first special, his look, to now that if he didn't address it. And Josh Blue, funny guy, I opened for him in Minneapolis one night. He watched my set and I do this bit about being a short guy, and I would always do it at the end. And and good on him. He saw me do my set, and then he came in the green room and said, "You need to move that short guy bit. That needs to be within like the first couple minutes of your set, because now what you're doing is you're telling the audience why it is that you're upset about these things, because you feel in your life you have been dealt a bad hand, and now." This is why you're angry about everything else.
It's a backstory.
Yeah, and I was like, that is brilliant for it. The second I started doing that bit at the beginning of my set, it completely, you start getting 20% more bigger pops.
Also, the MC bringing you on, if there's MC, isn't tall, the audience don't know you're short, because I'm only 5'7".
Yeah.
And which I know is a dream for you. But I get people all the time, because I'm very confident on stage. They go, I thought you were taller. I thought you're taller. But it's Bobby Mayer. Have you seen Bobby Mayer? Brilliant Canadian comedian. Brilliant. He's sort of scraggly beard and he hunches slightly and he's about 6 foot, but he looks smaller because he's playing the kind of withered and so he's making himself smaller and I make myself bigger because I'm full of energy and excitement. My point is telling they're short early on is also important because they don't necessarily know you're short. But of course, his point is at the beginning, it sets up, that's backstory.
It's funny you say that because I love having a host that is tall, that goes out in front of me, and then me having to adjust the microphone. And I always tell them sometimes, hey, do me a favor, Cupid eye, because it gives me that moment where I can adjust it and bring it down. And also, subsequently, it works the other way, because when I open for Michael Yo, I leave the microphone because we do it shotgun style. We only do a two-man show. I go out and do 25. He goes out and does 60. And we kind of figured it out one night when he riffed it. Oh, I need to leave the microphone short, because he goes out and immediately the first thing he does is loosens it and then pulls it way out and it gets a huge laugh, right?
Yeah. So the weekend I was here at the Comedy Store, the weekend just gone, and Ian Coppinger is an Irish comedian. He was emceeing, brilliant MC, does 90% improv when he's emceeing, and he's 5'2".
Wow.
Yeah. And what he does after a tall comedian, and I presume he asks them to leave out, they leave the mic up high. He walks back on. So let's say he's emceeing, so they've only had him holding the mic, then when he comes back on and he starts miming, pretending he's talking to a mic, and he talks for about a minute, maybe 45 seconds, just miming, and they're all doing stitches because it would, and then he adjusts the mic point, slips down.
Yeah.
And as it slips down, he says something like, "Oh, I wish I could remember." He goes, "And that's the last time I go to that brothel," or something like that. I wish I could remember what he said, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Oh, thank God they got that off my chest." Sorry, I can't remember what the sentence he ended up. It was something dodgy. Mm-hmm. But then he goes, "Oh, thank God I got that off my chest," which is happy because no one heard it. But that 6 foot plus to 5'2" is a massive drop. I was in the Netherlands last month. In a space of 5 days, I saw 3 men that were either 6'11" to 7'1".
Wow.
Yeah. One of them's neck was really long, and he had, there was a good 2 inches of neck that shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
He was like the giraffe kind of proportion.
Yeah.
But by the third 7 foot man, I didn't even turn my head.
No, sure.
There's 60 what's the average. If you're 5'11" in Holland, you're short.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I love when I go out with guys like Michael Yo when his Asian crowd shows up. I feel like a giant amongst.
Oh yeah. So I went to Atlanta once, and I was in immigration, and everyone else was Mexican.
Yeah.
And I was like, so this is what it feels like to be tall.
Of course.
Yeah, I could get used to this.
You've been bopping around doing the master classes. Where can people find some of the classes? What can they sign up for? Just hit the website.
So I got a master class coming up in July, but there's only 4 spaces left. But you can contact me on Instagram, Adam Bloom Comedy. This is the logo for the book, by the way, from Comedy Genius.
It's great. It's so funny. I love it. It's creative. Very. You came up with it.
Me.
You did.
Yeah.
That's great.
And my 16-year-old nephew did the graphics.
No way.
And my niece did illustration. My mum did a chapter from the audiobook. The whole family's involved.
That's great.
Adam Bloom Comedy. I do one every 2 months on Zoom.
Well, I appreciate the book and appreciate the time, man.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Make sure you check out Adam's book, Finding Your Comic Genius, which there is a link in the description below. Subscribe to this channel. Check me out on tour. I'm Rudy Pavich. We'll see you guys later. Thanks.